The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
Thank you, Tally Olson. I am back. You are comfortably zoned in Alameda, California, with me, the Zigzag Man. And I am particularly happy to be here today because I'm reacquainting with Nancy Finley. And,
yes.
you know, the old partner of ours on podcast, Jerry Feitelberg, is here too. So this is a big day for me. I'm excited. Nancy, how you doing?
Oh, great. I can't wait to hear Jerry's predictions. I miss those. I want to hear that. I want to hear if he can do that with all the changes they've made.
Well, you know, as long as you asked, let's go to that first.
Mm-hmm.
And what's been happening with the A's on and off the field? Jerry Feitelberg.
Oh, those are two good questions. Let's talk about the predictions for the season. Last year, as you know, they lost over 100 games. I think for only the second time in Oakland A's history that has happened. But
since 79, right?
Yes, since 1979, they
Yes.
they traded off Matt Chapman, Matt Olson, Marcus Semien left a year before, and now they traded Sean Murphy, their all-star catcher. He went to the Braves. So what they have, they got Shea Langoliers, who is a catcher, and they got a couple catching prospects. Tyler Siderstrom might be making the club this year, but we don't know who is going to be at first base. We don't know who's going to be at second base. I think Nick Allen will be the shortstop. They signed a free agent, Aledmus Diaz. He might be playing third base. I don't know. The outfield, Ramon Laureano will be back, but we don't know who's going to be in center field. Christian Pache, who they got last year, didn't hit well, so center field is Laureano can play center field, but we'll see how it plays out. As for the team, they have a lot of new players that they got in the trades, and they got a couple of lefties in the trade for Frankie Montas with the Yankees, and the Sears and Waldichuk. And Paul Blackburn is back. Caprillion is back. James Caprillion. So they might have a young rotation, but it's hard to predict what's going to happen. The bullpen might be better.
That. Yeah.
Well, Bob is down in San Diego he's got a surplus of fantastic talent down there. Juan Soto,
yes.
Fernando Tatis Jr. He's got Manny Machado, Xavier Bogaerts. They're loaded down in San Diego. It depends on their pitching.
He deserves to be with a well-funded organization.
Yeah.
And the A's fans deserve a well-funded organization, wherever they end up. And
that's not happening. Well, if we have the stadium issue, and the fans got very upset last year with the trades of all the good players, and then they had a terrible season. And poor Mark Costa, Mark's a good guy, smart baseball man, and they gave him a team that went nowhere last year, and then the ownership had the temerity to double the prices on the tickets and to see a last place team. And the A's had the worst attendance in Major League Baseball last year. They drew under 10,000 for the season. So they drew about 800,000 people, less than 800,000 people for the season. And then Major League Baseball is saying the owners are complaining that they don't like to come to Oakland. They don't like to play in front of an empty stadium with no fans in the seats. And so there's been a lot of pressure on the A's to get the stadium built. And if, of course, they can't get it built, they are exploring all their options to move to Las Vegas. And,
well, one excuse you can't use is that we can't win games here. That's one excuse that doesn't fly. But
no, we won 97 games 3 years ago, 2018 and 2019 with a good team.
But it is depressing to see all the empty seats. I mean, when I take pictures there, I don't want to send them out because of the background.
Right.
Not only were the seats empty when I would do the games, I was recovering from back surgery last year, so I only did the day games. The doctor didn't want me walking on the asphalt at night because he didn't want me to fall because I just had surgery.
Sure.
So I'd be in the press box, and I may have been on. You come up to the press box. The broadcast booth is right there in front. You go to the right, it's the writer's wing, and on the left is the broadcast thing. Well, I'd be on the left side, and many of the days I'd be the only writer up there on the left side. It was empty.
Really?
Empty.
Why? Where are the other writers?
The guy. No one from KCBS was there. No one from the station at 960, which is Bloomberg Radio. No one was there during the day. They just weren't there. And
well, they ask what's happening all the time. They could send people. I mean, that's just
but it was nobody there, and it's really sad. And of course, the other thing that happened is when Hank Schulman retired. He was covering the Giants for the San Francisco Chronicle. They moved Susan Slusser, who grew up an A's fan. Her mother was an A's fan. And she covered the A's for many, many years. They moved her over to the Giants, and she's now the beat reporter for the Giants.
Oh, did she grow up in Oakland?
I don't think so. But her mother was a huge. She told me her mother was a huge A's fan. So she probably grew up in A's.
Yeah. Okay. I wonder if. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Susan lives in the Peninsula. Her husband Dan Brown is a writer for the San Jose Mercury News. Yeah.
He used to interview me a lot. I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, what do the A's tell the fans to make it a nice day to come out to the ballpark anymore? Can they promise that?
Who knows? The stadium issue is the thing, because the A's are waffling on whether to stay in Oakland or not. So the original plan that Rob Manfred in Major League Baseball deemed of course the Oakland Coliseum as it is now is an old stadium. It's over 50 years old. It's 58 years old, something like that. The facilities, they've had flooding. They have sewage in the dugouts, over the years. The ambience is gone. The ambience is gone. And we have discussed this many times, and we also have said that the most logical place to rebuild the stadium was at the Coliseum location. Build it right next to it. Build a state-of-the-art stadium there. Oh. Rob Manfred in baseball said, "No, we don't want you in East Oakland." And
why?
I'm going to be very gentle about it. We think it's racist that they don't want to go into a black or Hispanic neighborhood.
Well, they've always said they don't want it, and I've always wondered about that. But the location, and now if it's not on the water, the location is great. Well, it's by the airport.
It
is a great location. It's by the airport.
And BART is there, and the infrastructure is there.
The freeway's there. The BART is there. There's a Caltrain station. It's an ideal location from my point of view.
Yeah.
And of course, what John Fisher wants to do and God loves John Fisher. He's owned the team since 1995, and I don't think I've ever seen him off the ballpark, ever. Lou Wolf was there for a number of years, and
he was sent in by Selig. Yeah.
What he wants to do, and I thought when they were going to Howard Terminal, they were going to build a 35,000 seat stadium, and they had some problems because the streets are all two-lane streets. Getting in and out of that area can be quite difficult.
That could be changed, but yeah.
Yeah, and they had to get shuttle service from the BART station on 12th Street and the BART station at West Oakland. But they could do that to get the people there, and they could build parking, whatever is necessary. Amtrak was concerned because people would be crossing the tracks. They could build a bridge to go over the tracks, so that's not a problem.
They need to redo it. Yeah.
But Fisher now wants to build, and this is 2 or 3 years ago now, a $12 billion project. He wants to put in 3,000 units of housing. And
what?
The city, he wants to go.
They're not into homes.
He wants to put in 200,000 square feet of office space. Maybe I get my numbers wrong, but he wanted to put in a lot of office space, a lot of retail. He wanted to put in a theater with 3,000 or 4,000 people. So he wanted to build a ballpark village there.
Well, they are considered, their real name is Athletic Investment Group, so it makes sense they would have all those different entities. We didn't even own concessions with us. So I understand that would be a bigger money maker because then they would have all the rich coming in for those.
Right, and they needed some support from the city of Oakland. They had to do some, and Oakland did get some money, but not enough money. And
it's not just Oakland. It's not Oakland. It's San Leandro. It's Contra Costa County. You know, when they say Oakland, it's not Oakland's population is 400,000 maybe. They need to mention other cities around there.
Yeah, but to build it, it's built in Oakland.
I know. Well, yeah, it's built in Oakland. Al Davis is the one that started the name Oakland because if they lose a team, I don't think they'll ever have the name Oakland again because that was because of the Raiders. But it's built in Oakland, but if it doesn't have the name Oakland, then it really should have an another name that sounds like it's in the East Bay, Northern California, but it says Oakland, but it's Alameda County. And also we brought in as much money from Contra Costa County. So all those counties need to chip in.
That would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. But I don't think it's going to happen. And Libby Schaaf did everything she could to get it going. And the stadium issue has been going on since forever, for 20 years or more.
Oh, since we were there, yeah. Well, we didn't want to go. We wanted it finished. Yeah, it was never finished like they said it was. So that was our thing. It wasn't that. I mean, we could do the marketing if we felt like they were doing their part. So it wasn't nearly like now it seems like the Edgewater Hyatt's gone. We used to have visiting players stay there. They had nice restaurants.
Yeah, most of the players stay at the Park 55 in San Francisco now, and they bus them in on. They fly into Oakland.
No, I thought, okay, now I'm staying at the Claremont when I come in, but San Francisco?
Yeah, they stay in San Francisco and they bus them. They bus them in.
That's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
They've been doing that for a number of years. They don't stay in Oakland anymore.
Well, they could stay in a nice place out in the East Bay. I'm sorry, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
We can name nice places.
that could be an oxymoron in Oakland anymore. Nancy, this city, the city of Oakland, we live in Alameda, Jerry and I, across the moat.
That's where I was.
I didn't know that, and we'll get to that.
From Oakland, I went to Oakland to Harbor Bay Isle. Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
I like
wonderful.
that. That's where I live, Harbor Bay Isle.
Yes, and you know what? Some new Andy Dulwich bought a home out there when he came out with the new owners. So yeah, a lot of people liked it. It was great.
Yeah, I forget which when I was on the medical staff, I can't remember. I think either Mike Bordick or Terry Steinbach lived out in Alameda. It's close to the ballpark. Sure.
It's a great commute. I mean, Dad used to get there before everyone else. So that's people don't. Yeah.
Well, here's my point with Alameda. It's totally different than Oakland now. You wouldn't recognize Oakland if you drove through it. There's an inordinate amount of homeless encampments and businesses boarded up and scary stuff happening. So it's like it isn't a good time to build the ballpark. But it really, if they look at it as an investment to build up the city, rather than an expense of building a ballpark, they'd be better off. But let me tell you, I've lost all hope that city and county politics combined with what the A's want to do, those three are not going to make it go. They haven't by now, and I think they're playing out the string. And I'd like to ask.
They got 2 years left on the lease. They got 2023 and 2024. And if they don't have a stadium ready in Las Vegas, they'll play in the 10,000 seat stadium that the Aviators are playing in Las Vegas, and maybe they can expand it to 15,000.
They already have a stadium. Yeah, they have that stadium.
Yeah.
They built that stadium, did they?
I think they did. Yeah, I think they own it.
So there you go.
But the thing is, on the ballpark village, the way they sold it to the city of Oakland was that with having the 3,000 housing units and the additional businesses, the tax revenues that they would get from the properties would offset any cost that the city of Oakland would have. They made it neutral for the city. So it would benefit the city by having the more people living in there. 3,000 units, you could have 6,000 or more people living in there. The big hang-up was on the amount of affordable, low-cost housing that they'd have to provide. And that's been one of the big issues that they've had to deal with. So
they always have to have a percent. Morgan was on the planning commission for Dublin, and they always have to provide for that.
Yeah, and Ralph brought up the homeless situation. I went up to see my doctor. One of my doctors was on his 3100 Telegraph.
Yeah.
You remember where Neldham?
Oh, I do.
Neldham, right by Kaiser.
Right up there. But Neldham's is gone now. They closed the bakery down.
Oh,
they closed because I came up and I was using my GPS to get me around Oakland to see the best way, because I don't like driving up Telegraph Avenue now because they put a bike lane in and they move. You have to park your car in the middle of the street now. It's down to one lane. These people, they do all kinds of crazy stuff.
But
anyway, I ended up going down 29th Street. Be to somewhere, and the GPS took me through 3 large homeless encampments. and you just couldn't believe how bad it is and how terrible it looks for the city of Oakland to drive through these things. And they were huge. And on 29th Street, especially when the freeway overpass goes,
yes,
just on and on and on. And they all have tents, and trash is all over the place.
Are they getting near the Coliseum?
Not so much in the Coliseum. I haven't seen it on that side. Mostly.
Okay. So around it, you haven't seen it.
Yeah, on San Pablo Avenue in that way.
Okay.
I don't
because
know.
I went to Oakland High School. I went to Oakland Public Schools, and I think I'm the only child of an executive who ever did. but
you and I were both graduates of Oakland High.
Yes.
And I got news for you. Oakland High beat Oakland Tech, and Oakland High is going to play someone in Sacramento. They're in the state tournament for the best high school basketball team.
Well, see, I didn't do any extracurricular things because I just wanted to go to school, get my education, and graduate. I was at the office most of the time. But what's weird, because I think Davey Lopes was my vice principal there, and his cousin played for the Giants. And I know Dad communicated with the people there all the time because I could tell I was being watched out for. I could tell. No one bothered me. No one asked to sell me drugs, nothing. I did not have any problems. And so, I mean, Dad was always a big advocate of public school. And so was Charlie, but Charlie's family was in a little town that had a different school system, but I didn't care. I just wanted to be near where our apartment was.
Okay. Hey, Nancy, you moved recently. You moved to Texas.
Yes.
Can you compare living in California to Texas? Good, bad, or indifferent?
Okay. Now, I'm born in Dallas. All my family's here. Now, Charlie was a wannabe Texan. He wanted to be here, but his dad got a job in a steel mill in Gary, Indiana. But he was here with my granddad's family for about a year. And so I'll tell you this. We are outside of Austin. In fact, Nolan Ryan lives in our town.
Oh.
And yes, and I've met with the broadcaster for Dell Diamond, but what's interesting is we don't have any state tax, and our property tax is not higher than California, and I see buses picking up kids in public school. So I'm thinking, where do they get that money? And then the homeless, we don't have much. They have homeless, some under the freeways in Austin, but it's like they know the name of every homeless person here. The news is very concerned about them and whether they're getting everything they need. I'm always amazed at that. Our daughter said she's not panhandled here.
Well, how many people live in Austin? 350,000?
No, like it's almost 1 million now. See, they're like the second. They're like Silicon Valley. They have a lot of people back and forth, and it's high tech. It's probably the most expensive place in Texas now. But what I see, it's interesting. They just have 2 baseball teams here, Houston and Dallas. This area could support something, but the Ryans own Dell Diamond, and they have the minor league team, and they draw a ton of people. They're very happy with that.
Okay. What do you miss most about living in California, Nancy?
Well, let me see. I miss it's not that humid here, but I miss the low humidity at times. I don't miss the fog coming in. That was strange. But I'll tell you this, what I find refreshing here is that people are true baseball fans. They just love baseball, and I don't have the snide remarks like I did out there. There's still a lot of hatred for Finley. And I was hoping Dad would change that, because a lot of people love Dad and hate Charlie. But I don't have that here. People talk about the 3 World Series. I was asked to speak at a Sabre group in San Marcos, and I decided to join Sabre because of that. It was so nice. But in the Bay Area, it's like there's still a big dislike for Finley, and they don't seem to appreciate the World Series we brought in. So I just really needed to have some time away, because I know a lot of people in baseball commute back and forth. So I figured I could do that. But I was available. I was so close to the Coliseum. I could help. I could drive in any time. But for a long time, I was ignored.
Well, Nancy, you know, one of the when I lived in L.A. and the first 12 or 13 years of my married life, I lived in L.A. up from 67 to 79, the end of 79. And people used to say, well, if the teams aren't winning, there's so many other things to do in California that you better have a winning team, otherwise you're not going to have people coming into the stadium. And that was one of the problems that the A's have. It was boom or bust.
I heard that too. Now here they have. Yeah, we have a ton of water. People have commented on how many natural lakes we have. And so people are always boating and going out that way. But I see what you mean. You've got skiing or, well, I don't know.
The beaches, you got skiing, you got the desert, you got Northern California with the redwoods. There's so much to do. San Diego, all kinds of places to go, and Las Vegas and Reno are close by. So there are lots of things to do on the weekend.
See, we haven't yet. We are right on the border of East and West Texas, so we're considered in the hill country still. So we don't have that swampy, humid location like I remember Dallas and Houston being. So it's better because we do have some hills, and it's just not damp. I like that. We have more of a Bay Area type of weather.
Yeah, I heard that when my nephew got married. My nephew and his wife live in Houston, and the wedding was in June. And we didn't go out on the street at all. We found out that they had tunnels underneath downtown Houston. They have a whole life down there. There are restaurants underground in Houston. We went to this wonderful barbecue place close to the hotel.
Because of humidity?
Yeah, and then we before the wedding we went out to a restaurant, and they had everything on the patio, and then the thunderstorms came in, and we had to move everything inside. Sure.
Morgan loves those. Morgan loves those. He keeps saying he needs more storms. Where are the storms? But we live near a cavern that's advertised in all the airports. It's I didn't realize it, but it's in Georgetown, and it's underneath, and it's like Carlsbad Cavern or what you see in Kentucky. I didn't know that, so we've gone on those tours. And there's a lot down there. I mean, billions of years old stuff. It's really amazing. That's all underneath.
Are you basically glad you moved to Texas?
I'm happy to be here because I'm not too close to family, but I can drive. I can drive and see who I choose to see. I have family everywhere, and it's a big state, so I can get on the road and plan to stay with someone for a weekend. But I like it because it is the outlook of the fans. There's in the town next to us. There's a Reggie Jackson Drive. I never saw that in the Bay Area. Any street named after one of our players.
Well, you should come to Alameda because they named a highway Wilver Stargell Highway. right here in Alameda.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
A graduate of Encino, and one of the all-time greats in baseball, both as a human being, a leader, and a player.
Nice.
The baseball stadium, the baseball field over at Encino High School is Willie Stargell Field.
Really?
Absolutely. Yep.
And then I went. Now, Dad taught. This is ironic. Dad taught business law at Laney in the off season. I have Dad's. One of the first things he did was get his professor credentials in his lifetime, and he wanted to stay busy. And I kept hearing Laney College mentioned with this new area. But that was where Dad taught, and then he would go and teach at College of Alameda sometime. But that Alameda, you can see San Francisco from the beach. That would have been a gorgeous site for a stadium.
It would have, but there's no way in and out. They don't have the freeways, so that was impractical. But it would have been nice if only. Life is full of those if onlys.
So that view, on the Harbor Isle and going down Otis. Oh my gosh, you can go to that supermarket and just go right behind San Francisco.
Yeah.
Right.
Now Nancy, I'm going to ask you a question. I heard that you're going to be here opening night for the 50th anniversary of the 73 team.
Well, it's April 16th.
I lost you.
Oh, it's April 16th.
Okay.
I don't have a good connection. If they do what?
Oh, I'm coming in on the 15th I'm bringing Taylor because Morgan has balance problems. And then is
that April 15th? April 15th?
Yes, April 15th. And the 16th, we're staying at the Claremont. And then I'm told the 16th is when they have the reunion.
Is that on a Saturday? I don't
No, it's on a Sunday. It's on a Sunday, which is, I always thought that the day before they would have like a media junket or something like that. I'm not hearing about it. Yeah. But I'm getting into
that's the 1973 team that Jack Benny threw out the first ball. And Nancy was good enough to send me a picture of Jack and your uncle
Charlie.
I have that out.
I wasn't aware of that. But did Jack Benny really throw out the first pitch?
Ralph, you need to share that.
I need to give this young man an education. How about this too? I was a Met fan, and the sixth game of the World Series was the only World Series game that I ever attended. And my heart was broken. I must tell you, Nancy, I didn't care much for Catfish and those guys in those days. I was rooting for the Mets, and it didn't happen. But
their manager was so nice. Their manager was sweet. God, what was his
Yogi?
name?
Yogi.
Yes, thank you. Yes, he was so sweet. I stood next to him when at the party after when we were in a line for food.
Right.
He was telling me what I should eat.
I wish I had some movies of that.
When Yogi passed away in 2015, and they had the new scoreboards up in the Coliseum, and they had a huge picture of Yogi up there. I took a picture and posted it on Facebook.
Oh,
and
I'm glad.
Yogi Berra was the only Yankee that I actually liked as a Red Sox fan growing up. Mm-hmm. I would watch Yogi Berra kill my Red Sox every year, but
it was tough not to like Yogi.
He was just amazing.
Oh
And
yeah, he was great.
And one of his famous quotes was, "If you don't go to their funerals, they're not going to come to yours."
Oh, they're going to know, right? Oh, he was
Nancy. When you come to town, promise to call us, and we'll have lunch at Nations on Webster Street. How about that?
I would love that. I'm going to be at the Claremont in Berkeley.
Okay.
Wow, Claremont is beautiful. That's an institution. If you come to the Bay Area, you got to go to the Claremont. I understand Nancy Finley's going to be there, so save your money. Okay.
I guess they bust me into. I don't know how I'm going to get to the Coliseum. I'm leaving that up to them. I can rent a car, but I'll see what they do.
Let them take care of it, Nancy.
Okay.
I wonder how many players from the '73 team are going to come back. I would imagine Joe Rudy would be back.
Yes,
he's still around.
Ted Kubiak.
Nancy, we just lost Sal Bando, as you know. Can you say a few words? Can you say a few words about him?
Yes, he was. I looked when I was little. I considered him part of my family in Kansas City.
Wow.
It was I mean, he's just. I sent a card to his wife, and I hope she's going to attend. But I heard that his sons will be there.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yes. So
and we lost our dear friend Ray Fawcett a couple of years ago.
Oh, I know.
That was heartbreaking. They had the media lounge, and I usually have dinner with Amari Gonzalez, who's the Spanish language broadcaster.
Yeah.
And Ray would come down.
Amari?
Yeah. And Ray would come down, and we talk, and Ray was old school. He knew so much about baseball. Unbelievable. And
yes, nice person.
Ray was saying, that if they have a doubleheader or a night game, if they have a night game and the catcher goes out and catches the night game, they have another catcher for the day game the next day. Ray would say, "That's nonsense." I would go out there every day, and I would catch both ends of a doubleheader. And he said the rule that the Buster Posey rule, where the catcher can't block the plate anymore. He says that's nonsense. That's part of the game.
Part of the game, right?
That's horrible. That's nonsense. Yeah,
he was wonderful, and so we've lost so many of the old guys. And
I don't want any more loss. I want them to stop passing away. I really do. Yeah. I've had it with this.
Well, I'm going to have a long talk with the powers that be.
Yes, it's got to stop.
I'll do the best I can.
Stop and think of some of the guys. You'll know. I don't know if Ralph knows them, but we lost Chester Farrow. Chester was a delight. He was so.
Mark Littell. I lost Mark Littell.
Mark Littell. Yeah.
Mark Littell wrote the foreword for my book, Nancy.
Oh my God.
We lost Ron Rabinowitz too from the Comfrey Zone Network. Ron Rabinowitz was a boyhood friend. He was a pen pal of Jackie Robinson.
Oh my God! Well, Mark Littell became like my best girlfriend, and he was. I talked to him 2 days before he passed. Apparently, he called me. He had tooth surgery, and I was on LinkedIn, and I read that he passed away. I thought it was a bad joke.
Oh, it was a stunner because he wasn't that old. He was what 68 or so, something like that.
Yes. Well, he was going in for bypass surgery, and they postponed it for the tooth extraction. And then, but I found out that he had bypass when he was only 43. I didn't know that. So I was,
He'd gone through an awful lot of treatments, and he kept it to himself. He was the one thing about Mark. He was a fervent advocate of helping veterans, and his dad was a Korean veteran and had been injured in Korea. His mom happened to be the first Head Start nurse, the first one in the country, and he was. We didn't agree on everything politically. Naturally, I don't agree with many people on everything, but and most people.
There's a rumor, Ralph, that you're to the left of Attila the Hun.
I am, but to the left of me is Jerry Feitelberg's late wife.
Oh yeah, she was a lefty, that's for sure.
Oh really? Oh my goodness! Wow. Well,
we won't tell anybody. It'll go. It won't go far. But and by the way, I found out definitively that it's okay to be a lefty. So I just wanted to tell you that.
And it's okay to be a righty too.
Well, not in today's day and age.
Well, Mark said he had synesthesia.
Pardon me?
Mark thought he had synesthesia after reading my book. He said he had it.
Okay.
Hey.
Listen, we're coming to an end of a great podcast. Let's continue it on a regular basis. Keep in touch, Nancy. And
yes, I wanted to see you.
And we will do a podcast from Nations on Webster and Alameda when the three of us meet again in April.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it.
Thank you. Me too. That's great. I love that part.
Both of you stay healthy. Thank you for listening, everybody. Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. I'm Ralph Zigtyko, the weak link of it all.
Thank you.
Adios.
Thank you.
Bye,
Ralph.
Everybody. Bye. Adios. Happy trails. Stay well, everybody. Avoid mortality. How about that?
The proceeding has been a Comfortably Zoned network production. You are advised to keep your dreams wet, your humor dry, your children and grandchildren out of military recruiting offices and off the laps of clerics who wear dresses. Thank you for listening, everyone. Happy trails.